Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Since 1911, the Pierre Parts Store has been your one-stop shop. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, the Pierre Parts Store has served the community by providing groceries, hardware, home products, and much more, including a full-service lumber yard. Now, we've added the Thibodaux store to the family with the same values and service we've delivered for over 100 years. The Pierre Parts Store and the Thibodaux store, our family serving your family.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. And you know, whenever it is we have updates, especially when it relates to those things involving law enforcement, we always like to get you that information as soon as we can. Welcome back to the show, Captain John Shaft, Morgan City Police Department. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're to understand that we have a gentleman, 32-year-old, who's been arrested for some things happening over in Morgan City. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Robertson.
Yes, sir. Yesterday afternoon, around 3:06 in the afternoon, officers with the Morgan City Police Department responded to the area of 5th Street regarding shots being fired in the area. This is a time wherever kids are just getting out of school, so officers quickly responded. One officer was able to see a vehicle flee in the area that was believed to be involved. He tried to initiate a stop, at which time the vehicle fled. He continued to flee, and we were able to get him stopped on 6th Street near Clotilde Street. And that's whenever the sole occupant of the vehicle, Mr. Joshua Robinson, was taken into custody. It was apparent that his vehicle did suffer from gunshot fire because he had some bullet holes and broken glass on the vehicle. Officers quickly conveyed, along with us and the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office and our Detectives Division, to 5th Street and secured the scene. And upon conducting interviews and conducting search warrants, and evidence was obtained and corroborated that Mr. Robinson and the victim were involved in some type of verbal altercation when Mr. Robinson struck the victim, at which time he retreated to his vehicle, Mr. Robertson, and brandished a firearm. And as the victim was with a small child and began to retreat in the house, also armed himself with a firearm. Mr. Robertson fired one shot, allegedly, and when the victim returned fire and was able to retreat into a residence that also was occupied by another subject and another small child. We did locate evidence that corroborated all this information, and the stories matched up that the victim was acting in self-defense, and Mr. Robinson was then arrested regarding this incident.
Wow. And again, you mentioned 2 very important things: the timing of this and how quickly you guys were able to respond and to get help from St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office. So very nice. But, you know, we're talking about right as kids are coming out of school. And as you and I know, those streets down there are really tiny. I mean, they're skinny. And so there's not a whole lot of room to navigate a vehicle when you're needing to get in or out. And so everything's kind of in close proximity. And then we have 2 homes with small children in them, and we have shots being fired. And so we're so very glad that you guys are able to do that quickly. Well, let's go through some of the charges. It looks like this gentleman has attempted second-degree murder, 2 counts, aggravated criminal damage to property, illegal use of dangerous instrumentalities, aggravated assault with a firearm, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, simple battery, flight from an officer, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And as we know, several of these are felonies that this gentleman is faced with.
No doubt. And going back to the timing of things, at this time, we just had our junior high schools that are 2 junior high and the high schools that have released. So those buses were already en route dropping kids off into the neighborhoods. And this was almost at the exact time that our elementary schools were released, and the route Mr. Robinson was going was actually towards two of our private schools and towards two of our elementaries, along with the junior high. So we acted quick. Our SRO officer was quick in responding to the junior high and notifying these other schools to quickly lock them down. We did have Mr. Robinson in custody fairly quick, so there was no threat to our schools. And he was found to be a convicted felon, not even supposed to possess a firearm. And
Right.
in his vehicle, we did locate suspected marijuana and drug paraphernalia.
Wow.
So it's a very unfortunate incident that could have been a lot worse. We want to commend our officers, our investigators with our detectives division, and thank the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office for their quick response, because we were able to fill this area with a lot of officers and police presence that, one, secured the scenes. We were able to locate our evidence and locate the suspect, bringing this to a quick result.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned something that's really important. Noticing where that is in Morgan City, it's very close to a number of those schools. In fact, some of those parents and some of those children walk to their homes. Some of the older children. But again, keeping all of these younger kids safe, being able to communicate with the SRO there, which is a school resource officer, making sure that they are keeping everyone safe to allow you guys to do your job to apprehend this convicted felon of these problems.
No doubt. Our main objective is to keep the community safe, especially our children. We want to make sure that our children are able to go to and from school to get their education, and unfortunately have to deal with this type of incident.
Yeah. And so, well, again, I brag about this all the time. I tell everybody in law enforcement, nobody does it as well as we do down here when it comes to jurisdictions and making sure that we're getting help. Love the fact that Morgan City Police can work so very well with St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office, making sure that we are working together for, like you said, one goal. When we have a situation like this and the poor timing of it, making sure that the kids are staying safe and that y'all are working together. Y'all have an outstanding working relationship. And I know that crosses over to wherever else we may have people fleeing scenes and getting out to other areas.
Yeah, no doubt. We're very thankful for our law enforcement partnerships. That's how we're able to get so much done in this area and do it in a timely manner and keep everyone safe.
I appreciate that. Captain Jeff, thank you so much for your updates. We appreciate it. Thanks for bringing an end to this difficult situation and keeping all of those kids safe. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. We appreciate you having us.
Yes, sir. All right. That will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on HTV.